Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the sun in the 7th house. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, you first want to understand what sign is the sun positioned in. This is extremely important to understand the functioning of the sun in your chart. You also want to understand, are there any planets conjunct with the sun or aspecting to the sun? Along with this, the most important moment where the sun will become active in your chart is during a sun Mahadasha. So if you have not seen my video on the sun Mahadasha Bhuktis, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. So what is the sun? The sun is the soul significator. The sun represents the purest form of who you really are. It is the whole reason why you have taken birth in this lifetime. And so the sun is representing your sense of confidence, of self-esteem, of your willpower, your ability to take initiative. The sun is your ability to rise to power and fame in life. The sun also represents your health and vitality, so it is very important in understanding your physical constitution as well. The sun also represents your father or a father figure in your life, along with anyone in positions of leadership, authority, government. This is all about power, fame, recognition. The sun also represents the ability to be righteous and pure in your actions. It is all about taking the higher path in life. At the same time, the sun has a negative side to it, where if you use this power irresponsibly, you are acting from a space of ego and arrogance. So you definitely want to keep a hand on this. So what does the 7th house represent? The 7th house is the descendant where the sun sets in our life. So it is representing the western side of the sky. It is all about our relationship to other people because it directly aspects the first house of self. So as it sits in opposition to your first house, which is you, the 7th house becomes all about relating to other people. So the 7th house is the public, it is the masses, it is your fame, how other people see you in the world. Your reputation is seen through the 7th house. The 7th house also deals with marriage and business partnerships. Any kind of legal bindings, contracts, dealings that you're getting involved with is all seen through the 7th house. The 7th house is the court house, so dealing with law, again, legal bindings, contracts, agreements is all seen in this house. The 7th house also is the house of the marketplace, so it is all about business, dealing with the masses, understanding what people want, understanding how to negotiate, how to do diplomacy. All of this is seen through the 7th house. And so in general, the 7th house is about relationships. It's about how we can find an equal or fair space. It is all about give and take. And so there's always going to be an aspect of the 7th house that relates back to the first house of self. The 7th house also deals with foreign journeys because it is the farthest away from the first house, directly opposing it. So it is about what is far away from you, going into foreign lands. So what happens then when the sun comes into the 7th house of your chart? Well, this will depend upon how the sun is placed here. And this is especially true because this is a very sensitive position for the sun. As I mentioned earlier, the sun is setting in this 7th house. This is the western direction. So the sun is actually losing its strength here in the 7th house. Not only this, but this is the Digbala position of Saturn. So this is the darkness. This is where Saturn feels most comfortable at here in this western position. So the sun, which is the light, is losing its strength and power in this 7th house. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that this will play out negatively in your life. Again, you have to see how is the sun positioned. So make sure to see those disclaimers at the beginning of my video. Now, when the sun comes into the 7th house, this can make you someone who's very good at dealing with the public, dealing with other people. You can be very diplomatic, you can have a lot of tact, very good negotiation skills, business skills. You know how to communicate with others to get what you want out of a situation. So typically, if the sun is not afflicted here, this isn't going to make you someone who's super blunt or forceful in your interactions. You know how to deal with other people. And this can make you a very persuasive person. Again, you have a lot of tact and diplomacy, so you know how to get something out of a situation, which can make you very skilled with business, negotiation, contracts, dealings. You know how to make a situation work in the favor of yourself and the other party. Sun here can also give you a very impressive way of presenting yourself to the public. You can have a lot of charm and charisma and definitely can showcase yourself in a way that draws other people's attention to you. You can be someone who's very attractive, someone who's very much liked by the public, by the masses. Again, this will depend upon how the sun is placed in this house. Because if the sun is badly placed here, then you may find that you are trying to assert yourself into the world, but not receiving the full appreciation that you're looking for. Definitely with this placement, there is a negative side to this where you can become attention seeking, or you can find that you are in situations where you are not receiving the right appreciation and admiration from others. You can find yourself, if the sun is afflicted, putting in a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of dedication towards others, but not seeing the same coming back to you in return. And definitely, if this is badly afflicted, this could be a position where you could also find yourself acting out in negative ways, temper tantrums, all sorts of situations where you're trying to get that attention and admiration from others, but just not able to receive it. If Sun is placed here in a great position, though, this can make you an excellent leader, entrepreneur, someone who is able to deal with the masses. Even a politician can be seen. Because again, the Sun represents the government coming into this seventh house of the masses. So definitely, this is an excellent position for politics, for management, for any kind of leadership where you are dealing with tact and diplomacy. With this placement, this can also make you someone who's very realistic. Again, this is the original home of Saturn, or rather the Digbala position of Saturn. So this is definitely the place where you can become very practical, very worldly, very much disciplined and routine-based in your approach towards life. And this can definitely get you success and recognition, again, if the sun is placed well in the chart. But if the sun is in a difficult position, again, you can find yourself struggling, working really hard, putting a lot of energy and effort into your relationships or your dealings with the world, and not receiving anything from this. Definitely with this position, it gives you a huge desire to receive that recognition once again, to receive admiration, fame, success, authority. You want to be known for your power, your abilities, and to be successful in life. So this is going to drive you towards wanting to be seen and noticed in the limelight. This can definitely be a position where you can be very skilled at really dealing with the masses in general. And sometimes this placement can create problems related to marriage as well, because again, you're putting a lot of your energy and effort into those relationships, but are you getting anything back in return? So definitely you want to be careful about people pleasing, about putting others people's needs before your own in your relationships. You can sacrifice a lot without actually getting the proper balance or harmony that is needed within your relationships. So definitely with this placement, particularly if the sun is placed in a difficult position, you want to be very careful about who you are getting into relationships with. A lot of the time, the sun is giving a sense of deriving your self-esteem and ego through your relationships. And this can be very challenging, where you could find difficulties with being alone, or you could find yourself even feeling alone and not receiving the right admiration from others. So definitely you want to be very careful about how much of yourself you're putting into your relationships. This placement can also be very good for creativity, self-expression, because again, the sun is about our creativity, our ability to be inventive, to express our individuality coming into this seventh house. So definitely this can be a placement for an artist, for anyone who's self-employed, anyone in entrepreneurship, anything that you're doing that is ingenious, that is different, that has an element of creativity to it. If the sun is not well placed in the chart, this could also make you very low on energy. This can negatively affect your health, because the sun is a signifactor of your health and vitality. So this could definitely diminish your energy levels. You could find a lack of ability to put forth your efforts. Even though you may find that you have these ambitions, there's a difficulty with actually initiating or making decisions or coming to conclusions about how you're going to actually move forward. This can be a very indecisive placement, because you're trying to create a sense of harmony and balance with others. So definitely there is a need to really think over all of your decision making to avoid being impulsive with your decisions. Sometimes with this placement, there can also be a false sense of ego that can be seen here as well, especially for those who are seeking power and authority and not receiving it. There can be a tendency to try to force this power and authority onto others. So this can turn negative in the chart, definitely, especially if it is highly afflicted by malefics in this house. There can be definitely a tendency to move into the direction of superiority, of becoming a dictator, of trying to force that authority over others. And definitely with the sun here, you can become famous, you can become known for your work, but with this position, if the sun is poorly placed, you could also receive infamy. You can receive a lot of hatred through the public as well. So definitely you want to be careful with your actions here. Again, this is a placement where there can be a lot of temper tantrum, a lot of acting out to try to receive that attention and appreciation. Sometimes if the sun is badly placed, this can also show a tendency to use that charm and that ability to be diplomatic as a way of manipulating others. Again, you want to be careful about all of this as the sun is all about taking the righteous path. So there are heavy karmas that are attached to all of your actions for sure. Sometimes with this placement, especially as far as a career where you are in the spotlight, if you are using this power for the wrong reasons, you can see a sudden and dramatic fall from power with this placement. Definitely you want to pay attention to all of your actions, how you are putting yourself forward. Now, this also can make you someone who's very warm, who is very helpful towards others, who wants to create this sense of peace and harmony. This can definitely be a strong indication of this. And sometimes, because you are not finding your sense of appreciation or admiration through others, there also can be this feeling of lonesomeness as well. You could have lesser friends. Again, you want to see how is the sun placed here. This will influence everything. The seventh house, as I mentioned earlier, is a house of foreign journeys. So the sun being here could definitely make you interested in traveling to foreign places and learning about foreign cultures. This can become very prominent in your life as well. Sometimes with this placement, this could also show delays in marriage. Again, there can be all sorts of issues dealing with marriage. You can compromise, sacrifice too much for your partner. You could sometimes, in some cases, attract a partner who is narcissistic or who's very self-absorbed, very much focused on their own sense of self and not really giving you any kind of love or attention in this relationship. So again, you want to be very careful about the types of partnerships and dealings that you're getting involved with other people, but especially in the area of marriage and long-term relationships. With this placement, it definitely can feel very uncomfortable at an early age to have this, as you're trying to find your sense of self. You're trying to be known for something. You're trying to get that love and attention from others and to have a sense of harmony and diplomacy. But you can find that you can struggle with these areas. So this is something that tends to take time to build. Your own self-esteem, your own confidence, your own feeling of security within yourself is something that tends to build with age and experience. You tend to learn a lot about yourself through your relationships because, again, the sun is an indication of who you really are and aspecting directly onto that first house of self. So definitely the desire of this sun is to be seen for who you are, to be known for something, to feel like you are a part of something. But with this is a journey of going through relationships and experiences to find yourself.